I used to call it sacrifice. Long hours, high heels biting into pavement, emails cascading after midnight. But really, it was accumulation. Credentials stacked like bricks, promotions like scaffolding, until one day you look around and realize you've built a fortress, but you're trapped inside. They called me unstoppable, tireless, an iron lady. I smiled at the compliments, and the sushis with raw fish, and I told them so. Acade and my chest felt hollow. My calendar was a mosaic of everyone else's needs. In that fortress, I wasn't living, I was just proving. The professional woman's investment portfolio isn't just stocks and property. It's the invisible ledger we carry. Hours traded, energy spent, joy deferred. For years, my balance sheet was red, and I was proud of it. Sacrifice meant I was serious, right? We met at the cafe around the corner from the office. The one with the tiny marble tables and the big, gentle light. She'd asked for 30 minutes. I brought a notebook, because old habits die loudly. "I'm tired," she said. "But I'm also afraid to slow down. What if I lose everything I worked for?" I stirred my coffee and told her a truth I wish someone had told me sooner. Speed isn't the same as momentum, and exhaustion is not a credential. We sketched a simple test on the napkin. 3 circles that now guide every decision I make. Impact. Will this actually change something that matters, or just make a deck look smarter? Integrity. Can I do this without pretending to be someone else? Energy. Do I leave more alive than I arrived? If it's not 2 out of 3, I said, it's a no for this season. She nodded, but her eyes said, "Can I really live like that?" So I told her a story. The day my daughter asked why my phone seemed more interesting than her. The evening I realized my calendar was full of people I would not miss, and empty of the ones I could not live without. The quiet morning I practiced saying no out loud until it sounded like love, not rebellion. We talked about mentors versus mirrors, how mentors show you a path and mirrors show you yourself. For years I collected mentors and ignored mirrors. Now I try to become both. A person who can point to a road and also hold a reflection steady enough that someone else can choose. Before we left, she asked for 1 homework assignment. I gave her 3. Write down what you're no longer willing to trade. Circle the 1 meeting this week that gets your best. Pick 1 person you love and give them an uninterrupted hour. She folded the napkin like a contract. We paid the bill, stepped into the afternoon, and I remembered. Change rarely starts with fireworks. It starts with coffee, a question, and the courage to tell the truth softly. This is what the accumulation years never teach you. How to audit your investments in minutes, not money. And how to compound the kind of wealth you can't report to shareholders, but your soul will notice immediately. On a flight home, I sat next to a CFO who carried stress like a second briefcase. We traded small talk about markets and margins until he showed me a photo. His daughter, grinning in a teacher's lounge. She turned down an internship on the street, he said, to teach 2nd grade. I did the spreadsheet in my head. The numbers made no sense. Then she said, "Dad, you taught me compound interest. I'm chasing compound kindness." He laughed when he said it, but his eyes looked wet. "I know price," he admitted. I don't always know value. I told him how I used to weigh everything in compensation and title, how my calendar was a portfolio optimized for external return, how my body eventually filed for bankruptcy. He nodded. So, what's your new currency? Attention, I said, and presence. They appreciate fastest when you invest early and often. He looked out. The market for meaning is global. Start with lunch, I said. Eat it with your team. Ask about their lives and wait for the second answer, the real one. Start with your daughter. Put her next performance on your calendar in ink. Start with yourself. 1 hour where you don't measure anything but breath. When we landed, he shook my hand and said, I'm making a transfer, out of net worth into self-worth. He smiled. Consider this my first deposit. I think about him when the old numbers whisper that I'm leaving money on the table. Maybe I am. But I'm also leaving room, at my table, for laughter, for questions, for a kind of wealth whose dividends arrive as quiet joy. The truth is, balance sheets don't visit you in the hospital. People do. And if we don't count what counts, life will do the math for us, with penalties. Epiphanies are easy. What's hard is Tuesday. So I built small systems that hold me when motivation doesn't. A weekly rebalance, where I look at my calendar like an investor. What paid a return and meaning? What drained me? What gets deleted, delegated, or redesigned? 10 minutes, honest answers. A one-screen rule. If a human is in front of me, my phone isn't. My attention is a finite asset. I refuse to split it into penny stocks. A protected hour for deep work and a protected hour for deep life. The first makes me excellent. The second makes me human. I try not to trade either. I keep a not now list, good opportunities that aren't for this season. Saying not now preserves the power of yes later. And once a quarter, I take myself on a retreat with no slides and one question. What am I chasing and why? If the answer is applause, I reset. If the answer is alignment, I proceed. People ask if I miss the velocity. Sometimes, but I don't miss the blur. The new pace lets me notice things. The way my daughter tells a story when she feels fully heard. The look my husband gives me when I close my laptop mid-sentence and turn toward him. The way mornings feel when I'm not already behind. Here's the paradox. Discipline delivered me into freedom. Boundaries didn't box me in. They framed the life I wanted to see. If you need a starting point, try this for 7 days. 1 sunset you actually watch. 1 hour you give away with no phone. 1 meeting you decline kindly. 1 conversation where you ask a follow-up and wait through the silence. See what compounds, then adjust your portfolio accordingly. We stood on the rooftop at golden hour, the city still busy, my mind finally quiet. The horizon didn't look like a finish line anymore. It looked like a place to breathe. My title is smaller now, but my impact is deeper. My network is tighter, but my relationships are richer. I used to invest in reach. Now I invest in roots, the kind that hold when storms come. If you feel successful but suffocating, take this as permission. Change the rules. Count different things. Disappoint a few expectations that kept you from yourself. Then build a portfolio of minutes that matter with the people who matter while we're here to matter at all. If this met you where you are, stay with me. We're designing a new kind of wealth, one that pays in presence, the kind you don't outlive because it lives in the people who felt you fully here.